welcome back to another video by Mr. Projects. So as you can see, pulled the front end off, got rid of the old headlights. They were all smashed. They're over there, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting and chopping, and we're just going to try and get this engine bay done. I really don't know whether or not I'm going to box these in like I did with the last one, because in my engine bay, even though I done them, you can't even see them. So I don't know whether or not to do that, but I'm going to start. I'm going to have to make a start, so I'm going to probably start by cutting this out, move that out of the way, chop all the crap we don't want out, and try and transform this engine bay in one weekend. Fair bit of rust in there. Look at that, you see the tyre straight through there. I think I'm going to cut this out and blade it up. There it is. That's the bit of rust. Let's make a template, weld it in, get rid of the rust. No one wants rust. And then we'll move on down, take all of this off, and then I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I should just box the rails in, just get it done. I reckon that's what we'll do. Don't know if anyone's ever seen a stripper disc, but it does actually work pretty good. So I'm going to use that down there and get rid of all the rust. So all I've done is I've got a Sharpie, and I went in and I made a template out of a bit of cardboard of the bit of metal that I'm going to need. So now I'm going to go and get that sheet of metal that's over there, and we're going to cut one out, and we're just going to tack it in. Done a bit of bogging. Sort of missed it on camera. I got interrupted by the neighbours. Doesn't look like much now. Literally just filling it up, and then I'll sand it back, and then I will cut all of this stuff off, and then I'll re-bog it, and then still undecided on whether or not I'm going to box the rails in. Don't know yet, because you can't see it in my car with the motor in there. So I'm undecided on whether to do that, but I've still got to take that off, take all the booster, just pretty much take everything out of the bay, do a lot of sanding, and just tidy everything up. Like I said, doesn't look like much at the moment. The only reason it looks like that is because I'm trying to build the layers up to get rid of all of the creases and marks, and there's lots of shit going on underneath that. And by the time I sand that and smooth it all out, it will look good. Sandpaper. I'm going to start sanding and filling all the cracks, and I'll just put it on time lapse. How about that? Go, we've sanded it down with 80 grit. If you look closely, you can see low points, a fair few of them. So sand it down with 80 grit, and then we're going to go over and we're going to fill up all these low points. You can see them, I don't know if you can see them on the camera, all these little low points. And then we're just going to do a light skim around the edge of this, and anywhere that looks a bit rough, and then we're going to re-sand that, and then we'll hit it with 240. Yeah. So it went from that to that, and now we'll fill up all the low points. So I've just gone over it all, and what I'm doing is it's only just starting to go off. I'm just knocking off all of these, and it just makes things easier when you go to sand it, because then you don't have to sand through bloody 5 mil of bog before you get to the rest. So you knock all the big stuff off, makes life a lot easier. It's all sanded, got some primer on it. Time to start on this side, I think. We're going to come back to that, and we're going to sand it again and fill in any little low spots. Not done yet, but we'll move over to that one. So I've just gone through, added another layer, knocked off all the big edges. I'm just waiting for it to dry, and then I'm going to sand it up, and then I'm going to put a coat of primer on it, pretty much the same as that side. Then I'm just going to let it dry. I'll probably let it dry for the rest of the day, and then tomorrow I'm going to come back in, sand them all back, fill up all the low spots, and then I am most likely going to attack down there, pull all the booster, pull everything out, and probably just give it a quick prime where I can, scotchy all of this, just get the bay looking pretty much ready. Alright, so this is just a tip for anyone that is new to bogging and stuff. Look, I'm no panel beater, but I do know a little bit, and this is the way I do it. I've just put it down a guide coat. Like I said, this side isn't finished. All I done was I got some matte black and just sprayed it on there, and that gives you a guide for when you come along and sand this. You'll know where you haven't sanded, because you've got to sand all that matte black off. It's matte black. Make sure you use a matte black and not a gloss. So once you sand all of this, you'll be able to see any low spots where the matte black is, and you'll be able to fix those up. So that's just a tip, but we'll carry on with this side. Time to pull the canister off, the mounting bracket for the canister, and it's stuck on there, but it's created a nice hole, so I will have to get some more sheet metal out, tack one into here, and then bog it off. But it'll get done. So I've got it off, and I don't even know where the bit went. It's down there on the ground. So I'm gonna just get a bit of sheet metal and tack a bit in there, and then bog it up. So that's pretty much it. It's not a perfect fit, but it is very close, and then I'll just fill the edges of that up with weld and then bog over it. So we'll pull the welder out and we'll get that done. It's got some tack welds on there. The welder was playing up a lot. Fucking Ozito rubbish. But guess what? $50 welder does the job. So I'll let that cool down. I'm going to slap some bog on it. Well, we have the bog on. Just like before, I just cheesed it off. This is the first coat, so it never looks good, but I packed it in there just to fill up all those crevices. Still got to go around and re-sand all of this, and there'll be lots of filling to do after I do sand all of that. This does take a long time, but if you want a good job at the end, just put the effort in, make your prep good. So we'll let this dry, and probably tomorrow or something I'll come out and sand that. I've got to pull this brake booster out and a few other things and prep the bay right up, and then I'll probably spot primer all these places just like this, and the rest will get scotched up, and then I don't know if we're going to prime the whole bay. I'm thinking about priming the whole bay, and then I can pretty much prime it, and then I'll get my mate around here and he will paint it the colour of our choice. It's now time to take out the booster and the master. So I've just labelled them left brake, right brake and the back brakes. So I'm just going to pull this out so I can get in here and sand this and get in behind there and do a few things. So this has got to come out, so I'm going to take that out now. After a real struggle, I managed to get the booster out. Because I'm missing my electric ratchet, I just took it out from the inside of the car. And let me tell you, there's not much room in there. It took me like a good, let's say 20 minutes farting around, because you've got to get up in there. As you can see, there's like no room on that side to get your ratchet or anything, but I managed to get it out. On to the next step. So now, since I've gone over all of that with 80 grit, I'm going to go back over everything with 240. Re-go over everything, and then I'm just going to look for some imperfections. Probably fine fill them, and then pretty much this engine bay is going to be done. I'm not going to box the rails in. I've decided not to. You're not going to see them when everything's in the car. So I'm only going to go this far, tidy everything else up, and pretty much all I'm going to do in the bay. I know I said I was doing it in 240, that was my mistake. 400 grit is how I finished that, so now it is actually nice and smooth. So now I'll go across, do that side and finish everything else. Just going to get some wax and grease remover and run it over every spot that I've sanded and primed, and then I'm going to prime it again, and then I'm going to leave it. And yeah, I think this is pretty much about as much as I'm going to do. I don't really need to go much further. Next stage will be priming the engine bay and getting it painted. So I've just finished up. I've just slapped some primer on it. Everything's been primed up. for the final time. There is a few other little things, like I'm not going to bother getting them on camera. There's a few little chips. Just going to go in later, fine fill that. This is pretty much as far as I'm going with the engine bay. Didn't really take me that long to finally finish the bay. Like I said, I'm not going to bother boxing the rails in because in my car, you can't see them anyway. By the time the motor's in here, we've got intercooler piping, we've got a catch can over there. You're not going to see anything. So this is pretty much as far as I'm going to go with this engine bay. So thanks everyone for tuning in and watching my video once again. Leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you're watching my videos all the time, leave a comment. It's good to get some feedback. And just one other thing, whoever told me in the last time I shaved my engine bay and I painted the engine bay, someone said, I can't recall their name, wrap all your lines in aluminium foil. I tried that just before when I primed that, and I'm telling you now, good job. I like that idea. That's way better than tape. Once again, thanks for watching my video. Stay tuned. Next video is going to be painting the bay, obviously. Going to go down and get a colour made up down at my local paint shop. And then we're going to, well, pretty much the only other thing that's going to come out, move that, mask everything up, and paint the bay. So stay tuned. Not sure when that's going to happen. Try and get it done in the next couple of weeks.